Now I know what you must be thinking. Autumn, is that a pair of nunchucks under the covers, or are you just really happy to see me? The answer? Both. We're not gonna make it. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Hit the nos. I've had the overwhelming urge to use these repeatedly this week. Can't figure out why. I'm just feeling so violent. Anyways, folks, welcome back to another episode of Autumn Nights. What are we drinking tonight, folks? Well, that's a great question. The answer was milk, to be a reference to the Mayfair Witches and everything. My original intro had me have a glass of milk here instead of nunchucks, except when I did the cover review, my cover still covered it, because that's what they do. It's in the word, covers. Did not land the way that I wanted it to. I picked up the glass. I chugged the whole glass of milk. It was disgusting. I felt like I was going to die. I still kind of feel like it a little bit. I'm going to go puke really quick. I'll be right back. So anyways, we're settling the stomach with some good old Piña Fraise LaCroix Curate. The fancy tall cans. Look at that. All right. Autumn Nights has officially turned into Mayfair Witches review and recap week, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys are probably not going to tune into this until the entire season has come out and you can decide, was it really better than season 1? Or did they just have a great first episode? And I don't blame you for it. I don't blame you for that at all. So allow me to be your proxy going through this experience for you. And at the end, maybe you can decide if you want to be me now and watch the show for yourself. All right. Mayfair Witches episode 2. I have nerves in my stomach now. There's fear going on. There's anxiety here. Because, guys, I've been lifted. There's now a hill for me to fall from. Okay? If they don't keep up their end of the bargain, I could be hurt again. And I don't want to be hurt again. Esta, Michelle, please, do not let me down. I only like tumbling down mountains one way. And that's on a pair of broken skis, baby. For those of you who need a recap, for episode 1, Rowan's done popped out, humanized Lasher. He's grown into a fully adult human man in a week, I think like a week. Cyprian, he's been approached by Albrecht, the leader of the Talamasca in New Orleans. He says, hey, do you think actually you could help us recruit Moira? Who's Moira? Great question. That's Tessa's sister, her estranged sister. She's back in town. She wants to know what's going on. Why did Tessa have to die? I don't like that, she says. I don't like that one bit. Albrecht also thinks Moira can help them, the Talamasca, gain control of Lasher for study or whatever they want to do. I have my suspicions. Meanwhile, Rowan is performing tests, observing Lasher, trying to figure out what he is, what he possesses, what he could do. She sends her blood work, his blood work, not hers, off to Lark. Who's that? An old flame, an old candle in the wind, long snuffed out. But could it be resparked? That's what we're here to see. I mean, I think it's kind of like shitty to boot Cyprian out the window for love triangles, but I don't know, maybe he's still in it. We'll see. Getting in to episode 2. I know that was like 2 weeks ago, but whatever. So we open the episode with Gifford Mayfair, which immediately, I was happy to see, because this is a character lifted directly from the books in a scene playing out directly from the books. And that was an encouraging way to start off the episode, once again reinforcing that this season they are lifting more straight from the source material, which was desperately lacking in the first season. We see Gifford Mayfair. She's staying away from the family. She's staying away from all the nonsense going on there in mainland New Orleans, I guess. Something wicked this way comes. That's what she's reading in the cards. There's some bad mamma jammas going along, and she wants to stay away from it. Rowan, what's she doing? She's sitting in front of a washing machine, which I did think contained a fish at first when I watched it. Is that a fucking fish? No, it's just the bubbles. Why would you have a fish in your washer? I don't know. But anyways, she's sitting in front of the laundry unit, washing her soiled clothes from where she, swamp buried Lucy, the girl who Lasher killed with this dangerous ding-dong. We're in shock. cleaning the clothes. Honestly, honey, just burn them at this point. You got the fire powers. Get rid of them. I'm attached to my clothes too, but not when they're covered in a dead girl's blood. She goes downstairs to confront Lasher, and what's this? OMG, he's gone. We knew this, but she didn't.
Lasher!
Mama, look at the window. She realizes when she tries to turn on the lights with her powers, it's not working. Oh my god. Her powers are tied to Lasher. She can't be as powerful if Lasher is not around, which I think is a very interesting story element to tie her power to Lasher. So it gives yet another reason why she maybe wouldn't want to destroy Lasher. Because as I said in my last video, when she has all of this power, she can do so much for people and also eventually herself. Because what does power do? It corrupts, baby. But we're going to get back to that in a bit. Back to Gifford. She goes out to the docks. Someone is coming up. Who is it? Oh my god, guys, it's Lasher. What's Lasher want? That sweet ass and some milk. And you know what? I think I know a good place to find it. Mommy milkers, can I just say? She's looking good. I'm just saying. Mama's got a carriage on her. All right. No, a carriage is an ass. What would be the front part of a carriage? Horses. Mama's got horses. I'm just saying. The watermelons are ripe for picking, okay? She was looking good in that dress. That's it. I'll leave it there. I'm sorry. I was a bit distracted. Whoa.
I was watching you here. I wanted to know what you were thinking.
Gifford, babe, I'm begging you. Strange man comes up to you at the dock. You just run away, okay? You hit him with your nunchucks and you run away, okay? But no, she invites him in.
Would you like a drink?
Call 911, honey. Please tell me that you're using this as a distraction to call somebody. Conductor, they say. 2 tickets to Pound Town, please. They make use of Gifford's luxury couch. That's right. They Super Mario Smash, baby. We go back to Lasher, just straight chugging that milk. For Jack Huston's sake, I'm hoping it's not real milk. I did it once, and I was down for the count. All right, I hope it's water with a little bit of dye in there. But anyways, he's chugging the milk. We hear a scream. Oh my god, what is it? It's Gifford on the couch. It's the same story as before. She's hemorrhaging, much like Lucy. She's like, get the fuck off me, call 911. And that's what a penis will do to you, ladies. Don't ever let it get towards your snatch. All right? And that's why you should only do gay sex. Oh my god, a third autumn? Seriously, can we take this? I don't know. We're about to have an automatic overload here, guys. So this whole scene, all right. Like, this scene is frustrating to go back and watch. And even when I initially watched it, I was like, yes, book scenes. However, you don't get any sense for why Gifford invites him into the house. When he comes up to the dock, he's being weird from the get-go. He's like, I want to know what you're thinking. And she's like, I wasn't really thinking about anything. Well, what are you feeling then? Bro, dude, pump the brakes. And when she asks, who are you? He responds, I used to swim in the ocean. Brother, could you cut the weird? And the entire time, later on in the scene when they're back in the house, she's like, I feel like I know you. And in the book reading this, you get this sense of like how she's drawn to Lasher just as much as he's drawn to her. And that doesn't come across because while Lasher is being weird, fucking weird as hell, she's backing away from him. She looks very wary of him. That's why I genuinely thought, I was like, is the whole getting a drink thing a ruse so she can call somebody? But no, they go back to the house and he continues to be weird. But she's like, well, I don't usually do this. So I guess that's like she doesn't normally do stuff like this, but Lasher's different. And I think that's a big problem with this show, is they're just constantly want you to believe that Lasher is this like all-powerful, amazing, seductive, undeniable being. And we don't, they need to show us that. They tell us over and over and over again. And yet, in the first season, he's so powerful. Oh my fucking God, he made some flower petals fly up in the air. Wow, I'm gonna go home and write to Mom. He can do something that positive and negative ions in the air can do. Amazing. That's called wind, bitch. That's not impressive. I see it every day. Like, sure, we get little glimpses. And like in the Thrall episode from the first season where he's showing Rowan, he's like, I know what you want. You want cake. But then he does, kind of like take her to this other world within a world in the Thrall. And he's like, we could heal things. But that was fake. Like, I even watching it, I said, okay, but that's not real life. That's in this made up world. Show us him healing things through her in the real world. And then I will start to believe the seduction, his draw more. Every time he pops up, he's like, I can give you what you want. And that's pretty much it. Except for, I will say, like, this scene, no, he's not like, I can give you what you want. But he's still being weird as hell. You don't get any sense for why these women should be drawn to him. And there's, like, so much more to seduction and to the intrigue of, like, dark power than, like, a raspy voice and some suits, And they're just not letting him out to his full potential. And I'm hoping he's still in baby mode. He's still learning things in this episode and in the next one, that once he does kind of come into himself a little bit more, he gets a little bit more character to him, than just like brooding and powerful, even though we don't ever see the power until finally, like, Lasher birthed him and now she has power. That's when we see it. But before then, I don't know why we gave in. And once again in this scene, I don't know why Gifford gave in. I don't get a sense of, like, her draw to him. Why didn't they just have her, like, leaning closer to him and finding the things he says charming instead of looking scared or off-put by him, Direction. I don't know. So, yay that we're following source material, but B, should have been executed better. Back to Cortland, still in stoneware Purgatory. He's getting chased by these girls in masks. And honestly, I think this show, like, doesn't know what to do with tension sometimes, because it could have been a really intense scene. Also, I thought Deidre was going to be one of the girls, and she wasn't. Like, I guess maybe they're referencing back to that initial party where he impregnated Deidre, to have Rowan come about and everything with the masks and all. But, like, he's there, like, no, don't come at me. And they walk towards him, and he immediately, like, gets in the door and goes in the door and runs away. Let it simmer a little bit. Like the scene from the first episode, with Baby Lasher pulling the teeth. They let it simmer. This, they did not. And there's other scenes that we come across where I feel like if they just would have taken a breath and allowed the tension to build, it would have made the scene better. And this was one of them. But whatever, we go into this room. Cortland locks the door behind him. He turns around. It's a familiar place. Oh my gosh. It's Daddy's old room. Is it? I think. There's a table. Who's sitting at it? Oh my gosh. It's Big Daddy. It's Big Daddy Julien.
Father?
I love the soundscape happening here. It's like we're inside the guts of like a mechanical beast or something. Oh, I really, really dig this soundscape. What does he want from Cortland? More food, of course. He's been waiting here in Purgatory, waiting for someone to come and give him some food. Interesting POV. Not sure that I like it. Not a big fan of that type of shooting style, but it's something different. Back to Rowan. JoJo comes home. Honey, have you eaten? No, been too busy burying bodies. Just been too busy with Lasher. They're catching up. They're having girly time when all of a sudden JoJo gets a phone call. Oh my God, guys. Gifford is dead. There's a knowing look in Rowan's eyes. Oh God, please let it not be another hemorrhage. So they go to Gifford's house. They're looking around. Rowan notices a discarded glass of milk on the floor. He's been here. She knows what's happened. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna tell? There's the milk, honey. Let JoJo in on it. You can trust her. She does a little fire in her hand. It's there. It's back. He's near. Her powers are returning. She goes outside and she tries to find him by doing this. Is that how you find the person that you're looking for? Is that why I don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend? I just need to start walking around like this more often. They'll come to me. She finds Lasher in the woods. He tells her, close your eyes. Why? I don't know. I thought we were going to do like a game of peekaboo or something. But, I guess maybe because he's an adult now and looks the way that he looked like before and he didn't want her to see or startle her. But, I mean, be real. You grew up in a week. Like, I think she kind of probably at this point would have anticipated you might be a little bit bigger now. But whatever. Come home with me. Let's sort this out. No, I can't trust you, he says. Why? Why? And I get that Rowan locked him in the basement, but she was like, I'm going to take care of it. She locked him in the basement so that he wouldn't screw more shit up. It was for his own good, too. So what do you mean? She went out and buried the body for you, man. What do you mean you can't trust her? She got your back, and then you ran away. Brother, come on.
I can't trust you anymore.
How? She got rid of the body for you, man. That's called being an ungrateful little bitch. But maybe you could say that he could like intuit that now things have changed and maybe she wants him to, stop killing people. So she wants to control him. And that's what she says. Someone's got to control you. You're killing people. And he runs away and she's like, blah. And trees are coming down behind him. In front of him, girly, not behind him. What's that gonna do? I know. I'll nip his heel. Maybe he's Achilles. Which, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand with later, her conversation with Millie, the ghost, the anti-ghost. Remember her? Where Rowan's like, I tried to kill him. And she's like, did you though? Because if you really wanted to kill him, he'd be dead, right? So did you really want him dead? So the trees falling behind him, sure. I think it can show the testament to how she wants to do something, but really ultimately there's that thing holding her back from actually destroying him. And so we're going to have to see her arc of actually getting to that point where she is strong enough to either kill him or weak enough to go along with him once again. But I don't think that's where the season's going to go. Cyprian, what's he up to? He goes to Arjun and he's like, hey gal, I need a trust tab from you. Trust tab? I don't know that I buy that. But anyways, I need a trust tab from you so that I can use it on Moira to get her to hear me out and help me get Lasher for the Talamasca. And Arjun rightly is like, apparently you could only use a trust tab on a person once. Okay. But after that, it's a violation of trust. They're not going to trust you afterwards because you forced their trust first. Which, yeah. Duh. Like, if it's someone that you want to have an ongoing relationship with, why would you do that? Think. You got glasses. So obviously that means you're smart. Come on, man. So anyways, Sip spills the beans to Arjun that Albrecht is actually not the cute, sweet, like Papa that we all thought he was. He's been out here manipulating people's minds, wiping their memories, and pulling weird strings for the Talamasca. OMG, that's what these blanks in my memories are? Okay. Like, they kind of just move on from that a little bit too quickly. Where's the anger? Where's the fire? But whatever. I get that that's not like the point of the episode. Really, he's there to tell us why he's working with Albrecht. And his whole reasoning is essentially keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Albrecht is more useful to him as, someone who can help him out while he's still within the Talamasca versus someone who he's going to have to fight against and try to run away from, which he's not going to be successful at because the Talamasca is always watching. I mean, they found him once already, so he might as well go along with it and try to figure out how to help from within. Back to Cortland and Daddy. And guys, Daddy's got an appetite. He just can't be satiated. So Julien Cortland's dad keeps just demanding plate after plate of food from Cortland. And Cortland is going back to the feasting table, and there's less and less food to give. Meanwhile, Julien's like, you're just a weak little thing, and you never would have survived in my time. We would crush you like a little saltine cracker that you are, and throw you out to be eaten by the birds. And what does Cortland do? He just goes along and gets Daddy another plate, proving his point.
Dull, unimaginative little boy. Nothing of the Mayfair in you. We all wondered if your mother had stepped out.
Okay. He's got a little razzle-dazzle in his eye. I like him.
You ask what you can do. Yet, you look on as I start. I'll talk. Talk.
He's starving, Cortland. Can't you see? You're just letting him wither away. Terrible, son. Terrible. When there is no more food, Julien says, I'm still hungry. What does Cortland do? He picks up a butcher knife. Not a butcher knife. It's a fucking machete, man. To which I think at this point, he's going after Daddy. Hell yeah. He's going to show that he is strong. He can have survived in his time. He's going to whack that head off. And instead, what does he do? You know, saws off his left hand to feed it to Daddy. What the fuck? Do something. That's what he wants you to do. Yeah. No, not that. Prove you're strong, not weak. He's so right about you. Ow. Ow.
Better.
Oh, God. Ew. He said, you a weak little baby bitch. You don't. I've stayed away from reviews. I've stayed away from looking at other people's opinions because I have found that then I trust their opinions over my own. And at the end of the day, why would I repeat what someone else is saying? So I don't know how other people feel about this, but I thought that was great. I thought the whole Cortland and Julien scenes were kind of the standouts for the episode. Julien, Ted Levine, he's a favorite. He's a favorite already in just the little bits that we've seen. He has such charisma that I think with other people in the show is lacking. And I immediately was just drawn to him. And just the way that he talked down to Cortland and the way the whole scene is set up. It's got this wonderful forced perspective to where Julien looks huge, ginormous. And it's, they apparently shot it on like a slanted table to where Cortland looks like he's a little boy serving Dad. Like I thought he was on his knees the first time we saw him. And I'm like, no, wait, he's standing up. I thought it was a really well thought out effect to make him seem so small in the shadow of Big Daddy here. And yeah, to cut off his arm to prove that he could be so belittled by his father and yet still do whatever he can just to serve, because that's what he is. He's just a measly little grub on the ground serving whoever is going to take him, whether it's Julien, whether it's Lasher, whether it's Rowan, as we see later on. But he's going to try to grow from grub to slippery little snake and get his way out of all of this in the end, which we see later in season 3. See, why do I always do that? It's episode 3. So anyways, Lasher is still recovering. He needs more milk. He stumbles upon a familiar location. Is this Pirate's Alley? Is this where a certain lamppost man was killed? And I think that's a good way to kind of show universe continuity without actually doing like physical crossovers and stuff like that. Shooting in, similar or the same locations. So we got Pirate's Alley, obviously from season 1 of Interview with the Vampire, showing it here again too. In episode 3, the whole thing with Felix, which we'll get to, shooting in Jackson Square at the bench. which we'll get to. You know, those subtle little references. Almost, you know, like in the pilot episode of Interview with a Vampire, we had the reference to the Mayfair Witches.
Plenty of brooms down the street at the Mayfair Sisters home.
He's calling me a witch, Mama.
It was a blink and you'll miss it type of thing. But stuff like that, I think, works really well to where it doesn't feel forced. It feels just like something that's happening, where they are two shows that are happening in concurrent worlds. The style and way that the shows are made are their worlds in and of their own. So you can show where there's those physical overlaps, but trying to force those two together into like actual crossovers. That's where I get a little sticky and wary. Rowan decides she's got to put a stop to Lasher sniffing out those Mayfair ladies. She decides, I'm going to form a rainstorm so that it'll mask the scent of the Mayfair women, and then Lasher can't hunt them for about an hour, maybe, Millie says. She's right. What's that going to do? We need long-term solutions, babe. She goes up to the porch. She starts the rainstorm. It starts raining. She's so happy. And what's this? Rowan? Who's on her sidewalk? But none other than Lark, her researcher ex-buddy from back in San Francisco. Yeah, he showed up to New Orleans. Crazy move, dude. Crazy move. What? I mean, it gets Ben Feldman back on my screen, so I'm not going to complain at all. Love him. But that's insane. To fly across the country to your ex's house that she has not invited you to the family she's just met, to like hang out, to talk about blood. Brother, I mean, go big or go home. Shoot for the stars. You could land on the moon and get stranded there for the rest of your life without oxygen. Jesus. But Hound Dog is on the run again. He's got another scent. Who's he going after this time? Alicia. Who's that? Oh, that's just Moira's mom. Remember Moira? The girl who has a vendetta against Lasher for letting her sister Tessa die? Yeah, he's going after her mom, which is just going to make her feel even better about Lasher, right? Right? Anyways, Alicia's like, oh my God, you finally come for me. I remember watching you as a girl when Deirdre was over here and thinking that maybe you were here for me, but every time Deirdre left, you left, but now you really are here for me. And hun, I want you to have some self-respect and let this go. But she's not. She's not. Mama gonna drink her wine. She gonna get him some milk.
What can I get you?
Milk. Cheese. It's gonna be a gassy affair. They're gonna do the dirty out in the living room with Daphne, little babe, in her room upstairs. Like, hun, I love Pinot Grigio too, but put the bottle down for a second and go to the bedroom. Oh my gosh. Have some class. Your daughter is just upstairs. Anyways, same story. We've seen this all before. They do the deed. Moira comes home. Mom, go to bed, she says. But what's this? She's going to bed for eternity. Yeah, that's right. She's dead. And once again, I'm just begging people to call 911. Because who does Moira call?
This is Cyprian.
Can you come, please?
She calls Cyprian first. Which, like, I mean,
It's my mom.
sure, whatever. But call 911 first, then Cyprian. Oh my God. But anyways, Lark is all, what the fuck is that with this blood you sent to me? There's 2 extra set of chromosomes in here. It's not human, whatever it is. Are you doing something with, like, orangutans? And Rowan's like, no, I need you to run this again, but try running it against ancient samples, like Neanderthals and pre-human species. What have you gotten yourself into, Rowan? He asks. I can't tell you, she says, but just do it. Please. And of course, like, bro came down to New Orleans for a reason. So he's going to do whatever she wants because he wants to get what he wants. That Toto, okay? Rowan decides I need to get the whole family in the house together. We need to keep them all protected here. But how am I going to get the family together? There's only one person who can do it. And that person is currently entombed in stone, talking to his daddy and feeding him his left arm. And, I mean, I don't think Cortland's the only one who could bring the family together hey, we got Dolly Jean. In the first season, she got all the gals together to like swap Lasher over into a different vessel. I mean, I think she has a lot of pull in the family, and she's way cooler than Cortland. All right, I want her on the screen all the time. I love Dolly Jean. She was like one of the only people that I really liked from season 1. I was so glad to see her back in season 2, and she continues to impress. But also, so the family knows that Rowan has brought Lasher into the world, and we've discussed through different characters that the family sees Rowan as this like Mayfair Jesus type character, you know? So if they know that Rowan has Lasher, they're under the belief that Rowan has Lasher. Why would they not want to come just because she says to come? Also, she's kind of the family matriarch now. I get that she's the newest member to the family and maybe doesn't have enough pull because she is so new and fresh, but like the Mayfair Witch is the matriarch. So come on. I think it was a weak reason to bring Cortland back, but whatever. I'm guessing for whatever reason they want Cortland to continue to be in the rest of the season, not in stone. So we're going to continue to have him, and that's how we brought him about. Sure, fine, whatever. So we go back to Papa Purgatory. Hella's having to talk to your daddy for eternity. Am I right, girls? Am I right? He's shining Papa's shoes now, and Papa's just like, yep, as little bitch boy does. When then suddenly, what's this? He's getting taken away. Rowan's bringing him out.
Stay the hell out of the way. That's how you serve the family best. No, Father. I don't believe it is.
He only has gusto, and he's getting pulled out of it all. Still a sign of a weak little bitch. So Rowan brings him back. She's like, listen, you were Lasher's servant. You're going to be my servant now. You work for me, okay? And Cortland's all, I wasn't Lasher's servant. Like, I didn't mean to, really. I'm just as much a victim as all of you because, well, my dad was mean. And Rowan's like, oh, boo, was daddy mean to you? Get over it. Everyone's dad is mean to them. Do you think that gives you an excuse over anyone else? No.
But I was a pawn, just like you.
I think she's a little bit more than a pawn. I don't think you guys are on the same level. You're a pawn. Yeah, you're a pawn. Rowan's not a pawn, okay? I don't think you guys are on the same level at all, and the fact that you think you are just tells me everything I need to know. Where does this heightened ego come from, you little bitch boy?
Ruined.
I think they need to do a little bit more for selling the powers and what's happening with them. Like, a lot of it is like... and it feels kind of goofy, which maybe they're like, but it's realistic, and what else would you do? But I don't know. It feels a little cheapified. There needs to, like... I mean, when they have the effect of her looking into someone's mind, you know, they have that whole effect to go with it. It's not just her staring at a screen with nothing else. So I think it would be better if there was some sort of visual accompanying it or a sound accompanying it. But whatever, I'm being nitpicky. I think overall this episode is fine. I think it's fine. I'm not like, whoa, you know, socks are getting blown off. But it projected the story forward at a decent pace while injecting some new information in there too. I'm not like titillated. I don't think I'm quite to the level that I was after episode 1, but I don't know that I will, just because, again, we were coming from such a place of expected disappointment to have that lifted up. So now there was an expectation to maintain. And I think overall they maintained the expectation. I think some things could have maybe landed a little bit stronger. But overall, it's decent. I do think the Julien and Cortland scenes were the standouts for me. Just because Julien, Ted Levine coming through like a motherfucking Miley Cyrus wrecking ball into this season. Already I can tell he's going to be a favorite. He's delightful to watch. And just, God, the sass and the way he looks, the hair, the dye job, the dandied up suit, the way that they shot it, I think that's brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. Big Daddy, who could never be satisfied. Cortland, an adult man, made to feel and look like a little child at the foot of father, feeding him his left arm. I didn't like the video game POV shots, but I never will. I don't like that perspective. I think it's cheapy. Oh, okay, there we go. But whatever. The never full daddy. We've all been there, haven't we? Daddy's got an appetite. Daddy can't be satiated. Oh, girls. What are we gonna do? Giddy up, cowboy. We about to ride into the sunset. And like I said, the soundscape of that scene was amazing. Amazing. Felt like, again, we were in the belly of a beast. Like the house, this purgatory of the house. It's this living thing grumbling around inside of there. It can't escape. It's kind of like Jonah in the whale, you know, waiting for old Rowan to come and fish him out just so he can be her bitch now. I love seeing a man get humbled, don't you? That's what life's about. Guys, wake up tomorrow. On the horizon, there's yet another man just waiting to be knocked down. But again, this is such a breath air still from the first season because we are following the storyline that was present in the books. We've tweaked things, but we're reaching back to that source material, and that's very encouraging. And I am, once again, interested to see how things unfold with this next episode. And I'm interested to see how they change things from the books moving forward, because they're gonna have to, because not everything in there is just gonna translate. And I'm curious how much they're gonna dip into the history. Like I've seen from clips and everything, we're gonna go to Scotland, right? Yeah, we're gonna go to Scotland. So I know that's gonna happen, but I'm curious if that's because Rowan and Lasher are gonna go there, kind of to mimic that storyline from the books, or if we're going back to the history. But I feel like Sip was also there, so maybe not. So will the Telemasca get a hold of him? You see, I have questions about where this is going in a positive light. I'm hypothesizing versus just saying, what the fuck is happening? I don't understand. Because this didn't bring me a story for me to connect pieces to and dots to. Let me turn my thoughts into a lovely broth. Well, wouldn't you know it? This just ain't doing shit because I forgot to hit record. Ain't that just so fun? We love it. We love it. Oh my God, editing Autumn once again. How you doing, girl? I'm doing great. It's 1 a.m. and she's still going hard. Anyways, I decided to re-record my stewed thoughts because even just from the time that I've recorded, obviously, I recorded my thoughts today. I'm in the same fucking outfit. And the time I'm editing now, I think I was being a little bit too critical and a little bit too harsh with my stewed thoughts, opinions, because old habits, man. You know, this is what I've come to expect from the show, just having poor opinions of it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make up for it. I'm trying to have grace, okay? Grace. Everything leads back to them. This was yet another, pretty solid entry into the Mayfair Witches catalog. And overall, this is doing still so much better than where we were at the end of episode 2 of season 1. So maybe I'm just being a softie, which I very much am. Oh my God, I'm made of jello and velvet. Okay, call me Jelvet. Don't call me that. Don't ever call me that. Why did I say that? It's disgusting. I think, though, the issue is, I actually think the story is good. I think the story that they're telling is progressing very well. Just sometimes the actual writing, the actual lines, the dialogue weighs that down a bit. I think we've made a vast improvement as far as visuals. Oh my God, the visuals are so much better. Just the way it's shot, the grading, the production design, the costumes, the makeup, just everything. Everything looks so much better. And even the soundscape, which I will say, season 1, the soundscape was still was actually pretty good. I remember thinking whoever's doing the composing, whoever's mixing the sound, they're doing a good job. And I think that's carried through and gotten even better in season 2. I think, though, just sometimes the writing can let us down. Because sometimes we make these strange jumps in conversation that don't really flow and don't make sense. But you can tell it's striving towards an end point in the scene. You know, for example, going back to those first couple scenes with Lasher and Gifford, you know where this is all going to end up. It's going to end with Lasher sleeping with Gifford and her dying. But how we got there, it just wasn't seamless. So I think the points where we're going are making sense and are compelling and are good. It's just sometimes the way we get there isn't always as satisfying as the end destination. So I'm hoping moving forward, once the story kind of really gets on its feet and gets going, that it'll smooth out a little bit more. Because overall, I know I've seen now some other people say their opinions of they watched this episode and they lost all faith in the show. And I haven't. I have not lost all faith by any means in this show. I sat around and I watched episode 3. I'm working on that video now, and I'm looking forward to episode 4. So, yeah. Once again, it's not the best thing that's on television right now, but it's so much better than season 1, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go. And I continue to hope they don't let me down. All right, well, that'll be it for Autumn Nights, y'all. How about you cozy up there? Try not to get blown away by that wind. And, hey, when you're dreaming tonight, you might pop over and see your gal hanging out. And if you do, don't run away. Come say hi. Catch you next time.